So here is the problem. French wine labels often look a lot like this. What in the actual, where's the name of the bleeding grape variety? Make it easy for fuck's sake. If you don't speak fluent wine French or have some pre-existing wine knowledge, you're completely stumped before you pop the cork on the bloody thing. Let's fix that. By the end of this video, you'll be reading a French wine label like a total pro. And if you stick around, I've got a simple AI trick to make you look like a sommelier at your next dinner party. Let's go. Let's kick off with the name. So on a bottle, you will see the name here, and that's usually more often not the producer or the estate. So if you see something like Chateau Margaux or Chateau Lafite, don't drop the bottle. It's very expensive. And that reputation is built over multiple decades. On this particular bottle, we have David Moret, and he's a French geezer. I know him. He makes the wine. It's his brand. He's a bloody big guy. He loves rugby, loves Le Crunch, and he's based in Beaune. So in fairly simple terms, the producer grew or acquired the grapes, made the wine, then slaps their name on the bottle. There are, of course, exceptions. If it's a family estate, their reputation depends on it. That's why great producers can turn a tough vintage into something a bit special, and bad ones can take a perfectly good year and still balls it up spectacularly. It's a bit like restaurants and chefs who, trust me, can balls things up. If you give 10 different chefs the same ingredients, maybe one or two will make something absolutely divine. So if you find a bottle you love, make a note of the producer, because quite often producers will make in their estate a range of different wines, from bog standard, in David Moret's case, Bourgogne Chardonnay, right up to the Grand Crus, and they'll be meticulous and have the same care and attention for their humble Bourgogne Chardonnay or their Rouy as they do the Grand Cru stuff. Next, let's try and decode what's actually inside the bottle. So right here we have Rouy. How the hell are you going to pronounce that? I know how to pronounce it because I've worked in wine for 15 years. Is it Rouy? Is it the grape variety? What on earth is it? It is a geographic region. It's not the grape variety. The French bloody love doing this. They put the place in the biggest font possible and leave you guessing. However, once you know a little bit about the regions, you basically unlock the entire system. Stick with me and my channel for more on that. Rouy is in Burgundy, which means Chardonnay for the majority of the whites. Same as Chablis, that is in Burgundy, and that is Chardonnay. So Sancerre, Sauvignon Blanc, Burgundy Red, Pinot Noir, Beaujolais is Gamay grape, Côte de Rhône is Grenache and Syrah, Bordeaux, Cabernet and Merlot, and so on and so on. If you get confused, speak to an independent wine merchant, he'll be able to help you, or use my AI trick, which is, do you know what, just take a picture of the label, put it into ChatGPT and say, decipher this, where is Entrée du Mer, for example. Now, the exceptions to this kind of geographic location thing in France are Alsace, where normally, quite often, they'll put the grape variety on, and some Languedoc cheaper wines where they'll put the grape variety on as well. Right, onto the fancy stuff. On here you have Appellation Rouy Contrôlée, which sounds important, but basically means, yes, this wine was made in the Rouy region. That's it. And it's zero romance. You might also see the following on a wine label: Village, smaller area, Premier Cru, fancy, Grand Cru, super fancy, and your bank balance will notice. Onto the number on the front, 2022. That is called the vintage, and the vintage is when the grapes were grown and then when they were harvested in the autumn of 2022. And the vintage can tell you a lot about how the wine is going to taste. So here's some things that you might miss on a bottle. So you've got Mise en bouteille par David Moret, which basically means it was put in bottle at the domain, so with David Moret, rather than being trucked over and put in sort of massive, great big containers that then bottled on a bottling plant somewhere outside of Burgundy. And then alcohol percentage, which is a hot topic in the UK at the moment due to our ridiculous new duty laws. Generally 12%, I'd say, is fresh, 13 to 14 is riper, fuller, 14.5, 15 plus strap in. You're going to have a headache in the morning. So a condensed version, region equals grape, producer equals quality, appellation, geographic area is geographic area, vintage really does mean quality, and then all the other fancy words, a bit of marketing speak. And that is broadly, quickly, how you decipher a French wine label.